This is United Network News with Sunny Galt, Calen Gipp, Kimberly Gogan, and our field messengers from around the world. Here's today's real news.
Flamingos are fascinating birds, known for their striking pink feathers and distinctive, long, thin legs. UNN field messenger Toni explores the world of flamingos and their stunning habitats in the lagoons of Cabras, Italy.
This is Toni reporting from the Italian island of Sardinia for United Network News. The large freshwater lagoons, or stagni, in Cabras are famous for hosting flamingos. Some of these shallow ponds have dried up, but luckily others are thriving. I was surprised to see white flamingos. This is because their pink colour comes from the shrimp they eat, and in this autumn season they are eating fewer shrimp. They usually appear at dawn and dusk, when they eat shrimps or other creatures from the bottom of the pond. They run along the pond to take off, and then we can see pink and black on their wide wings as they fly across the water. When they land, the pink and black are clearly visible, along with their long, spindly legs. While they are feeding, they walk and stand on both legs, but when they sleep, they stand on only one, because the water is cold and they alternate legs to avoid freezing both legs together. These fascinating birds can be found around the southwest coast of Sardinia, particularly in Cagliari and here in Cabras. The flamingos weren't easy to find, but a local showed us where to look. We were lucky enough to see and film them and the surrounding waterways leading to the coast as the sun was setting. From Cabras, Sardinia, thank you for watching. This is Toni for United Network News.
In today's fast-paced world, we've become inseparable from our smartphones and other wireless devices. But they also come with hidden risks, especially for pregnant women. Radiation emitted by cell phones and other wireless devices poses a significant threat to both mother and baby during pregnancy.
So today we're talking about pregnancy and wireless radiation. And Patty is joining us. So Patty has been involved with the Baby Safe project for many years. This is something, Patty, we've known about. Maybe the information hasn't gotten as far as we would like, but that's why we're here today, to tell people about this and to let them know that there's something they can do. So let's talk about some of the studies and what we've seen and the correlation between our cell phones and unborn babies and what that looks like.
So, most importantly is that we are a science-based organization, and this is one of our projects to do what our mission is, which is to educate the public about the links between common environmental exposures and human health. Okay. And we specifically work on the health of children, because children are more vulnerable to any kind of environmental exposure, right? Because of their size, because of their undeveloped bodies, their undeveloped immune systems and detoxification systems and so on. And then they live differently than adults. They live on the ground, they live on the floor, they have this hand-to-mouth behavior so that everything winds up in their face, right? They want to smell, touch, feel, everything. Mm-hmm. So building on that, we were very involved in the issue of wireless radiation or radio frequency radiation coming from all these new wireless devices that have become part of our daily lives, right? Right. And so we went to a lecture that was being held by Dr. Hugh Taylor, who is the head of reproductive sciences and OBGYN at Yale Medical School. And he talked about a research project that he and his colleagues had conducted showing that that pregnant mice who were exposed to typical cell phone radiation had offspring that were acting like they had neurological deficits. He actually said that it looked like in a human ADHD, right? They were bouncing off the cages. They didn't have a care in the world. They had poorer memories. They couldn't find their food. And so this was of great concern. So they actually did necropsies. They actually looked at the parts of the brain and found that the prefrontal cortex had actually been changed due to this exposure, typical cell phone radiation exposure. So we thought, oh boy, okay. So with our friend and colleague, Dr. Deborah Davis, we came up with this Baby Safe project, which was basically to just warn pregnant women about not exposing that developing baby, especially that developing baby's brain, to high amounts of cell phone radiation. And that actually comes because you are just typically putting your cell phone in your pocket, without even thinking. This is what you do. You talk on it, and then you stick it in your pocket and walk away, right? And when you're talking about this type of radiation, radio frequency radiation or wireless radiation, proximity is everything. Proximity is really, really important. So actually putting that phone in your pocket over your developing baby is really close, right? You're really getting close to that baby. So we're just basically out there with this program called the Baby Safe Project to warn pregnant women. And we are getting these out to prenatal clinics. We're getting them out to OBGYN practices. We're getting them out to anybody who's working with pregnant women, midwives, doulas, anybody who has that pregnant woman in their life, right? And they can actually just give them this simple brochure that we've put together, which just tells them how to avoid it. Yeah. I mean, if you actually look in the legal section of a phone, you'll actually see, if you go all the way to the bottom of the legal section, it'll say radiation. And it usually says something along the lines of, do not hold this device against the body.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that's actually to protect them, right, from liability. This is a legal thing, right? It's in the legal section, right?
Right.
So that's kind of, something that we thought we should really spend some time on, getting pregnant women educated about not using cell phones.
Yeah, it's in that fine print. You know, that really tiny fine print that they read really fast on the radio spots and stuff. This is where that information is. This should be front and center. That's probably not good for their marketing, right? But that we should be, educating people and telling people more about this. And we were talking earlier, and I know also cell phones are a little bit different, but I would think that if you had fewer bars on your cell phone, that would be maybe not as bad for radiation purposes, but you said that's actually worse. So
right, it's the opposite. It's the opposite. So the weaker or the lower your signal bars are, the harder your phone has to work to find that next antenna or the nearest antenna. And so it produces higher levels of radiation as the phone is working harder to find that connection to the next antenna. Especially you can see that when you're driving along the road, right? You have no bars and they get closer and closer and closer to an antenna, and then all of a sudden you have all your signal bars.
Right.
So wait to make that phone call until you have all your signal bars.
Okay, so what are some of the practical steps that we can take to help limit this kind of exposure? Simple things that we don't even think about, that we do all the time, that maybe aren't so good for us.
I know. Well, this goes for everyone, but it's especially important for pregnant women, right? So you're going to text instead of talk, right, whenever possible, because texting uses up less radiation, and you're not holding it against your head, right, when you're texting. When you are talking, you should use the speaker setting or an air tube headset. Now, people use, headsets all the time, but those are wires, and you put those wires directly into your ear, just like you do when you're using earbuds, right? And so the radiation is the metal wire in there. It's going right into your acoustic nerve, right, and your brain. So if you're going to be spending a lot of time speaking on the phone, you should get what we call an air tube headset.
What is that? I've never heard of that before.
It works on the same principle as a stethoscope. So you're actually hearing the sound through an empty tube, and it's completely safe. So that's what you want to do. So you put your phone down on the table, and you just talk and talk and talk and talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. And talk about sleeping at night and where we keep our cell phones at night.
Yeah. So everybody keeps their cell phones by their bed, right? And teenagers keep them under their pillows. I mean, that's pretty typical, right? You should never do that. Never sleep with your phone on or near your bed. And if you're going to plug it in to charge it, do it in another room or on the other side of the room from your bed. What we're doing is just trying to limit exposure. Yeah. Limit exposure, especially close exposure that is in close proximity to your body.
Right.
And then, we did talk also about avoid using a cell phone in cars and buses and trains and elevators and planes and so on, because it works harder to get a signal through metal. So it increases the power levels and the radiation exposure to all the people that are in that vehicle, not just the person using that phone. Everybody's getting exposed.
Right. And like you said, this is important information for everyone. I know you guys are focusing on pregnant women because our little babies, just so tiny and, defenseless at that age. And we have to protect them because who else is going to protect them if we don't? But it's good information for everyone. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I know Baby Safe Project has been around for a while, but you guys are steadfast in getting the word out. And we really appreciate that. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thanks so much.
For more information about the science behind radiation and how it can impact unborn children, visit their website at babysafeproject.org. That's also where you can download that free brochure Patty was talking about, so you can share this information with others.
The Canada geese were once on the verge of extinction due to the hunting and loss of their natural habitats. The good news is they have made an impressive comeback, thanks to the various protection and preservation efforts. UNN Field Messenger Ruth shares their inspiring story.
Hello, this is Ruth, Field Messenger for UNN. Many people in the Northern Hemisphere have seen migrating flights of geese called Branta canadensis, or Canada Goose, flying in a V form. These Canada geese are the largest known waterfowl originally from the Arctic regions of Canada, where they nested and then migrated to winter in warmer climates. They are monogamous, mating for life, and raising their young in small groups. Unfortunately, because of their large size, loud honking, and aggressive behavior to protect their territory, the geese are not always welcome in bays and coasts around San Francisco. However, most people do not know that they are one of the most successful restoration and nature preservation stories of the 21st century. The geese we see around the Bay Area of San Francisco stay here all year, no longer migrating. This is because in the 1900s, their numbers were decimated by hunting and habitat loss. They almost became extinct. Fortunately, about 60 years ago, a small flock was successfully preserved in Minnesota, USA, and since these geese were born and nested in the United States, they stopped migrating, finding good food of seaweeds and grasses year-round in the lower states of America. Subsequently, the species was introduced to other countries and can be found all over the world. Today, the Canada geese number in millions because they are protected from hunting, and the numbers are now a worldwide success story for species preservation. This is Ruth signing off.
Lately, there's been a lot of buzz around a medication called Ozempic. You might have heard about it from a friend or seen it in the headlines. So what's all the hype about? Well, Ozempic is primarily used to manage type 2 diabetes, but it's caught the attention of many due to its potential weight loss benefits. Some people may be wondering if Ozempic is the miracle weight loss drug that everyone has been waiting for. While it's true that many individuals have reported significant weight loss while taking this medication, it's important to note that Ozempic is not a magic pill.
Ozempic is one of the most popular anti-obesity drugs, often used off-label for weight loss, meaning it's prescribed for a condition other than what the Food and Drug Administration approved it for. The active ingredient in Ozempic is semaglutide, which works by mimicking GLP-1, a hormone in your body that's managing blood sugar levels and appetite.
Ozempic is a class of drugs known as a GLP-1 receptor agonist. And that stands for glucagon-like peptide 1. So what it does is it mimics the hormone GLP-1 in our body that helps to control our insulin, our glucose regulation. It promotes feelings of satiety by suppressing and delaying gastric emptying. GLP-1 receptors are found throughout our body. They're in the GI tract, our pancreas, our kidneys, our lungs, our heart, and in our brain. So they're discovering that GLP-1 receptors in the brain in various regions. So the hypothalamus, which regulates our hunger and satiety, the hippocampus, which plays a role in appetite control and our eating behaviors, our brainstem, which enhances those feelings of satiety after eating. And also the drugs can alter our hindbrain, which affects our taste processing and like the gut motility.
With intensive marketing campaigns increasing its appeal, authorities have widely endorsed Ozempic as a weight loss solution. This surge in popularity has inevitably resulted in overwhelming demand, reminding of the opioid crisis and raising concerns about potential misuse. A lot of celebrities are talking up Ozempic, and it's got everyone chatting about using it for weight loss and what these endorsements mean for how people see health.
One of the first people to be like, yeah, I was on Ozempic, didn't know, but yes. What do we think of this Ozempic takeover in Hollywood?
Well, listen, it's a miracle for anyone who's ever struggled with their weight. It really is, and a lot of people have. So everyone should do whatever they want with it, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it. If you want to take a drug to curb your appetite, do it.
I appreciate that you...
Excuse me,
do you need
sorry.
Some water?
No, I need some Ozempic.
There was a lot of appreciation that, you know, you were one of the few who were like, yeah, whatever, I was on it.
Yeah, listen, I'll take anything that's new and on the market. I'm not scared of that.
Since 2022, a shortage of Ozempic has emerged despite increased production efforts, leading many to seek other sources. The aggressive marketing narrative seems closely linked to a push to redefine obesity, not just as a lifestyle issue, but as a condition treatable through pharmaceuticals. This shift in perspective includes targeting specific demographics, with lobbying groups promoting its widespread use in minority communities, raising questions about the underlying motivations. In December of 2022, the Food and Drug Administration expanded Ozempic's approval to include treatment for obesity in children older than 12. This was quickly endorsed by the American Academy of Pediatrics based on a 68-week study. Despite this, there remain legitimate concerns about the long-term impact of altering digestion in childhood. For the past couple of years, many companies have offered Ozempic online, appealing to patients eager to experience weight loss. However, this trend often bypasses standard medical protocols, such as lab work or detailed consultations. The ease of acquiring Ozempic online is startling, with many companies skipping even basic interactions like video chats or phone calls.
And that's how easy it was for me to get Ozempic. It's likely you've been hearing a lot about Ozempic lately. It's hailed as the miracle drug of the moment for weight loss, even though it was originally intended for type 2 diabetes, and I was able to get it by filling out an online form. Here's how I did it. After answering a few dozen health-related questions online, I was approved for Ozempic. At no point did I speak on the phone or have a video consult with a doctor or nurse practitioner. I'll enter my real height, and I'll enter my real weight. It says my BMI is too low to be a good match for this weight loss program, but it suggests that if I made an error, I can review this information. How about I just enter the weight that they suggest? And then I can continue. Doctors and experts I spoke to expressed concerns that this isn't healthcare at all. It's a business service. One eating disorder expert I spoke to said they were alarmed at how easy it was to get this medication and said people may try to take advantage. I exchanged a couple of messages with a nurse practitioner who asked me to upload a recent photo of myself. I uploaded this photo and was approved minutes later. The online telehealth company provided written instructions on how to use the drug and listed side effects and warnings. I haven't heard from the company since.
Despite its promising use, Ozempic is linked to several serious side effects. Lawsuits claim it causes issues like pancreatitis and even vision loss. A comprehensive study examining 16 million patient records identified significant risks, including bowel obstructions and gastroparesis, which in severe cases may lead to permanent digestive issues. Also, there's an observed rise in biliary diseases, especially gallstones. Research in animals suggests GLP-1 drugs could harm the small intestine, possibly affecting nutrient absorption over time. There's also a troubling increased risk of suicidal thoughts, reported to be 45% higher. Labels on these medications also warn of potential links to thyroid cancer.
There are side effects to this because it is a medication, right? So some of the side effects are like nausea. You can feel really nauseous, especially when you're injecting it. And I think as time goes on, you may feel less nauseous. You may experience vomiting, diarrhea, constipation. And I really feel that constipation is from a lack of hydration. You could have stomach pain or discomfort, loss of appetite because it does dial down your appetite, and a lot of people have a reduced hunger. And I think that is what kind of helps people eat less with it. Fatigue, some people feel really tired on it. To me, that's like a sign of malnourishment, because if you're not taking in enough calories, you're not getting enough nutrients. Gallbladder problems, Ozempic can increase the risk of developing gallstones. Also, kidney issues can happen, and that's often to dehydration from the vomiting and the diarrhea from the medication. The other thing is that thyroid tumors are, you're at risk for that too, especially if it's in your family and you have a history of that, because then there's an increased risk of 50 to 75% higher while you're taking the medication. So one of the side effects that can be quite concerning is called gastric paresis. It's where you have a delayed emptying of your stomach. It's considered like frozen stomach or food rotting. And basically like food is sitting in there and rotting, right? So that can be an issue as well.
Besides health concerns, there's also the cost factor. Ozempic is priced between $1,000 to $1,500 per month, proving unaffordable for many without insurance. Due to the Medicare Modernization Act of 2003, Medicare is currently unable to cover weight loss drugs. This has prompted Ozempic's manufacturer to lobby for legal changes. An obesity rights group, primarily funded by the manufacturer, has successfully moved a proposal to allow Medicare to cover these drugs. If approved, this could cost Medicare billions annually. Estimates range from $3.1 to $6 billion. Beyond the medical and financial aspects, rapid weight loss brings another reality. Many people find they need additional, often costly, cosmetic procedures to address sagging skin, a consequence unanticipated when dreaming of losing those extra pounds. On the other hand, many notice they regain lost weight after discontinuing the medication. While Ozempic can aid weight loss, it's important to see it as part of a bigger picture, how to manage weight healthily and sustainably.
I think what's confusing about Ozempic is it does have some amazing upsides. And so we can't just totally villainize it. It's like, oh, there's some interesting things to learn here. And people who are in a massive metabolic crisis, it can be a lifeline to get them out. But again, a line that I will continue to hold is lifestyle, lifestyle, lifestyle. There is no free pass when it comes to your health. I mean, we can hack in from many different directions. We have some pretty fast paths to health, like, learning how to metabolically switch. But in the end, you are going to have to make health your responsibility, and you're going to have to work for it, especially as you age. One of my guiding principles that I always think about is my 100-year-old self. Am I doing today something that would make my 100-year-old self proud? Am I living a life every single day? I'm 54 years old. That is going to make me a happier, healthier human at 70, 80, 90. I have my future self always in the forefront of my mind in everything that I do.
Exploring underlying issues such as poor diet, inactivity, stress, and sleep deprivation can empower people to make lasting lifestyle changes. Holistic strategies, including nutrition education, personalized exercise plans, and mindfulness techniques, focus on long-term wellness goals. These measures promote healthy weight management without the risk of side effects associated with pharmaceuticals. Rather than relying solely on medications like Ozempic for temporary weight loss, addressing core concerns in a natural, root cause-driven way presents more long-lasting benefits.
UNN Field Messenger Michelle introduces us to a beautiful South American horse breed called Marchador, relatively unknown in Canada.
Hello and welcome to Kelowna. I'm at my friend's horse farm, and here's her two horses. This guy here is called Fire, and this guy here is Journey. And Fire is an interesting breed. He is what is known as a Marchador, which is a South American horse. So there's some up here in Canada. There's a few breeders that have them up here, but mostly they're unheard of. So Fire is a special guy. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Because he's got this special coloring, kind of a champagne bubbles. And he's got this cool coloring. Now, when I first met him, I thought all Marchadors were like him. But unfortunately, they're not. But, yeah, so he's got this very cool coloring. And he's doing what is a bad habit known as cribbing, where they bite the fence, which he's not supposed to be doing. And the horses have fly masks on, in case you're wondering what that is, because they get lots of flies, and the flies are very annoying. So it keeps their face and their eyes and that clear from, and their ears clear from the flies. So yeah, and this is Journey, and he is an Arab. And he's also a very handsome boy, but you can't really see their faces. But yeah, so just wanted to show you where I hang out and where I spend my time, and in this beautiful countryside, away from traffic and cars and vehicles. And this is Michelle reporting for UNN. Thanks.
More and more UK homeowners are sounding the alarm about spray foam insulation, as it complicates selling properties, securing mortgages, and releasing equity. While spray foam insulation has its benefits, the risks and complications, especially in the UK's unique climate, have got people talking.
The problem stems from unqualified traders installing foam insulation without proper surveys or expertise. As a result, mortgage lenders are cautious, often refusing to finance homes with this insulation, as roof timbers are hard to inspect. Property values drop drastically due to spray foam, leaving homeowners with high removal costs. Although legal and supported by government value-added tax exemptions and grants, the lack of regulation allows for exploitation. Homeowners feel misled, accusing the government of neglecting the issue and placing responsibility on traders and buyers.
I want to talk to you about spray foam insulation as we approach winter and people start thinking about insulating their houses for energy efficiency. So why am I talking about spray foam insulation? It's because it is nigh on impossible to get a mortgage on a property that has had spray foam insulation installed. The majority of lenders simply will not lend unless the spray foam insulation has been removed. So if you are thinking of getting it and you have a mortgage on your property, then please don't, because you will find remortgaging an absolute headache, meaning that you might end up paying more on your monthly payments. Now, if you don't have a mortgage on your property, you may think that this won't affect you and it's fine for you to go ahead and get this installed, but you probably will want to sell your home one day. And with the spray foam insulation, it's likely that you will only be able to sell either to cash buyers or the value of your property will be reduced. And lastly, if you are looking at a property, thinking of buying it and it has spray foam insulation, please just walk away. Unless the vendor is willing to pay for the removal of the spray foam insulation and the subsequent surveys to show that no damage has been done to the roof structure, you will seriously struggle to get a mortgage approved on that property.
One big concern is poor installation. If the spray foam isn't applied just right, you can end up with gaps that let air and moisture sneak into your home. And with the UK's famously wet and unpredictable weather, that moisture can lead to mold and mildew, a homeowner's nightmare. Reports show up to 25% of roof timber can decay within 5 years when spray foam is applied without proper consideration.
This is a period property in Southampton, which has been retrospectively fitted with spray foam insulation. This has caused damage to the roof timbers, wetting of the timbers and the growth of mould, as can be seen on this rear rafter where the damage is clearly evident. They have tried to address this by fitting air vents into the roof by removing some of the ventilation, but this hasn't worked and the property has been refused lending for mortgage purposes.
There's also the health angle to consider. Many spray foam products contain chemicals that can irritate your skin and respiratory system if not handled properly, leading to respiratory problems, allergies, and headaches due to poor indoor air quality. Plus, there's the environmental impact. Producing spray foam releases greenhouse gases, and if it's not disposed of correctly, it just adds to landfill waste. Maintaining spray foam presents another daunting challenge. Homeowners must routinely check for cracks and potential pest infestations, making it a costly and time-consuming venture. Not to mention, the high initial cost of spray foam installation itself can be off-putting. Many families face steep upfront expenses without a full understanding of the long-term financial impact, which can include continual repair costs and higher energy bills.
Spray foam. What is spray foam? Well, basically it's an insulation, but it's quite a new one and lenders aren't quite sure about it. So there are a lot of lenders who are saying no. If your property has spray foam insulation in the rafters of your property, it's going to be really hard to get a valuer to say this is a good property to lend on. Basically, what they're worried about is condensation getting behind the spray foam and then rotting the roof or the rafters, which is quite a big problem when you think about it. Spray foam, if you're looking around at houses, pop your head in the roof, it looks like this. And what you need to do is you need to check that it was installed by a professional person. It's which sort of cell it is, so open or closed cell. See if the rafters are showing for breathability, and then talk to your broker first. Do not apply for a mortgage until you know that they can actually accept it. Otherwise, it's going to be a credit check, it's going to be application fees, valuation fees. You're going to be swimming in it before you even know it. Talk to your broker first.
Given these issues, lots of companies are pushing for insulation alternatives that are safer and more reliable. Options like fiberglass, cellulose, and mineral wool are getting a lot of praise because they handle the UK's climate well and are more eco-friendly. These options offer solid thermal resistance with fewer health concerns. For anyone considering their insulation options, it's worth getting some professional advice. Knowing what your home specifically needs can help you avoid the problems that come with spray foam and keep your living space safe and energy efficient. If you're having trouble landing a mortgage because of this insulation, the Homeowners Alliance suggests exploring other lenders. Some do offer mortgages for homes with spray foam insulation, but they usually have specific requirements about the type and how it's installed. Plus, a thorough inspection by a surveyor is often part of the deal. If you're worried about how this insulation might impact your home's value, you might think about having it removed. Experts strongly advise against doing this personally due to potential hazards, such as structural damage and exposure to toxic materials. Platforms like Check-A-Trade can provide professional advice and cost estimates for safely removing the foam.
Spray foam insulation is effective, but when it's improperly installed, outdated, or damaged, removal is essential.
Over time, spray foam can deteriorate, leading to reduced energy efficiency and potential health risks from trapped moisture and mold. Removing old or damaged foam clears the way for improved insulation.
If you feel you were misled during the purchase or installation, know that you can take action. Installations under the Green Homes Grant Scheme should be done by Trustmark registered pros who have a dispute resolution system in place. If you feel deceived, you can seek justice under the Consumer Protection from Unfair Trading Regulations 2008.
The government has excluded spray foam from its latest insulation scheme, emphasizing the need for certified installers under current grants. The experience has left many homeowners wary of future eco-friendly home upgrades, complicating their trust in service providers and decision-making around large investments. UNN is changing the face of news. Join us for our weekly Field Messenger meetings and learn how you can make a difference. Visit UnitedNetwork.Earth for more information. Thanks for watching.